Yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski, and I've been playing PokeMMO for around 9 to 10 years now, and it's about time to show you guys my current shiny collection. Now, for those that don't know, I went dry on shiny Pokemon for around 8 years, but when I finally got my first shiny, I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop shiny hunting. I became super obsessed with it, and I still love it to this day. Let's go ahead and jump into it. If you're here to see all the shinies that I've collected within a 10-year period or so, here you go. They're laid out right here in chronological order from when I first got my first shiny, aka Stunfisk, to my last shiny recently, aka Slowbro. I am also currently up in the top right-hand corner, as you can see, 75,780 encounters dry at the moment, so hopefully I'll be able to break that streak soon. But let's go ahead and jump into my first shiny. Today's going to be story time and covering everything sort of related to all these pretty casual style ramble type video, but also hopefully sharing some insight into what it takes to be a long-time shiny hunter, and also the different trials and tribulations and ups and downs you'll face alongside all of the encounters and everything that comes in between. Anyways, let's just go ahead and get started. So first things first, Stunfisk. This Stunfisk obviously took me 8 years. I started playing PokeMMO in 2013. I didn't get this Stunfisk until I had around 2,200 hours playtime. Now, I guesstimated to have spent around 1,800 to 1,900 hours of those shiny hunting, and only around 50 of them were doing ×5 hordes, probably inefficiently. However, around 1,800 of those hours was spent doing single encounters. I used to do single encounter shiny hunting a ton. I used to do 75-hour long streams back in the day when I was like 14 years old. I would stream on Twitch back in 2013 to 2015 or so, and I would just stream for 75 hours, and I would sit there at Memorial Pillar running back and forth looking for a shiny Hoppip. That was the first shiny that I always wanted, was a shiny Hoppip, which I did end up reclaiming a couple of years later. We'll get to that in a quick sec. So what happened was, I did all of this shunting. I spent so many hours in this game, and I just never got it for years. I didn't get my first shiny until 2021, around 8 years after I'd started playing the game, crazily enough. And this Stunfisk took me an estimated 200,000 to 300,000 encounters. That's the estimated time frame for this shiny, which is pretty insane. And a lot of people are saying, why would you get a Stunfisk? Stunfisk was actually my second or third favorite Pokemon at the time. It's currently my third favorite Pokemon. I still do love Stunfisk. But it was the shiny that I loved the most. That was also the easiest to obtain. It did have a ×5 horde. I think at one point I just sat down and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for this. I'm going to end, if I just keep hunting, I'm bound to get it eventually. So I'm just going to go ahead and just do that, hunt it, and end my shiny dry streak. I was sick of it. And thankfully, I was able to do that. With the willpower invested in me, with tons of RuneScape play, I was able to go ahead and sit down and get this Stunfisk. So that took me an estimated around 200,000 to 300,000 encounters. Now, my shiny Shuckle, my pride and joy, by far my favorite shiny on this list. It's my favorite Pokemon. It's my favorite shiny. It was caught in the Safari. It was caught on stream. It was the Safari miracle. It's what got me into doing PokeMMO YouTube. This would have never happened. My life would have never gone this direction without this shiny Shuckle. I got him at 105 encounters in the Safari Zone. If you want a direct example, anecdotal example of showing how much RNG evens out when shiny hunting or over long periods of time, it's this. It's the going 200,000 to 300,000 encounters dry on the Stunfisk into immediately getting my favorite shiny of all time in the Safari Zone in 105 encounters. It was just insane. I cannot believe I got this on stream. That's such an insane miracle to me that I'll never ever forget, and I'm super lucky that I got it on stream and had that moment. To go so dry on the first shiny and then immediately have it all redeemed and vindicated via this was just, I can't explain it enough. The fact that I almost lost this shiny. It was in the Safari Zone. I caught it on the 4th Safari Ball, which had a 33.3% chance to flee after every single turn, and it took over 3 turns. Pretty scary stuff. And it was pretty insane. I got it on stream. I got it while doing pest control on my RuneScape Ultimate Iron Man, trying to get 99 Prayer. And I got it along the journey, and it was just insane. I had plans to breed for a shiny Shuckle for 2 years. I was starting a journey, and I just ended up getting it in, 2 hours at 105 encounters. Moving on to shiny Hoppip, the first shiny that I ever wanted in PokeMMO. Memorial Pillar back then used to be a 100% chance encounter for Hoppip. Single encounter, you would just run back and forth. So much, pretty much 1,800 of my shiny hunting hours previously to the 1850, 1900 were spent single encountering. Back then, like there was no hordes for a very long time in PokeMMO. Nowadays, I'm sitting at around 5,873 hours, and a lot of this has been ×5 hordes now, so a lot of things have changed. But Hoppip ended up getting a ×5 horde, so I did end up ×5 hoarding for Hoppip. However, I made a mistake. I didn't prepare to catch Hoppip properly. If you aren't aware, Hoppip is actually the most dangerous shiny Pokemon to catch in a ×5 horde because it has access to Rage Powder and Memento. I have a video talking about this, which I'll hopefully remember to link in the description below, but if I don't, remind me in the comments politely. Hoppip is literally the scariest shiny to catch in PokeMMO in a ×5 horde. It really wants to kill itself. It's very, very dangerous for a ton of reasons. And I was not prepared for this at all. And I just got super lucky that it was in the exact level range that I needed it to be to not only not have Rage Powder, but also not have Memento. So thankfully, luckily, I was able to catch it at 22,000 encounters. I definitely should have lost it. Now, on to Deerling. This was caught April 27th, 2021. My birthday is on April 29th, so kind of a notable date. Not really any important IVs on any of these Pokemon for the most part as well. Otherwise, I'll try to remember and call them out. This Deerling was actually the wrong shiny. I really wanted shiny Vanillite. This is northeast of Dragon Spiral Tower. There's a little spot. I'd used no Lepa Berries. I'd always surf over to it. And I ended up getting this at 47k encounters. I also do have a shiny reaction on my channel for the Shuckle and the Hoppip, but not for the Stunfisk or the Deerling. This was pretty early on in my YouTube, my quote-unquote YouTube career, right? Deerling was gotten at 47,000 encounters. It was the wrong shiny. I really didn't want it. After getting this wrong shiny, I took a long break from shiny hunting, a long break from PokeMMO, a couple months or so. I can actually just see from here. Yeah, it was like a 6-month or so break because I was finishing up my maxing my ultimate Iron Man on RuneScape. So I ended up focusing on that, getting that done, and taking a little bit of a break from video games for a solid week or so after spending a 2-year commitment on the Ultimate Iron Man. But that happened. Took a long break after this, and that leaves us to our next upcoming shiny, Surskit, which really got me back into shiny hunting. I got this thing at 33,000 encounters. It has a 50-50 spot with Marl. I was okay with getting shiny Marl, although I did heavily prefer Surskit, so I'm super happy to have gotten this. There is a 100% chance spot for Marl, so I can go to that later on when I do want to go ahead and get that Marl. Nothing super interesting here. I just love Surskit, one of my top 10 favorite Pokemon. Really underrated. Surskit has a great shiny alongside Masked Rain, so I do want to get a second one day to have one of each. Now, on to Accelgor, ×5 horde shiny, caught as a Shelmet at 25k encounters. This is where I really started kind of getting back into the groove of shiny hunting and everything. Ended up getting this, what is this? Yeah, 9/24/2021. Was this after? Was this before? No. Okay, I have my timeline correct. Okay, yeah, I ended up getting this 2021. What is that? September 24th. Really cool Pokemon. Really underrated shiny. I'm a huge fan of Accelgor. I did end up getting my synchronized boost, but my stats were pretty unfortunate. But that's okay. Really easy ×5 horde near a PC in the water in Icarus City. A lot of my shinies are in Icarus City. I tend to like that location. Pretty cool shiny. I love that he's like a ninja bug. It's just very cool. The orange and black is a very, very cool coloring. He also is a sticky hold Pokemon, which I can actually use him. I turn off his particle effect and I use him to shiny hunt for fishing Pokemon, which is a fantastic use. I always love getting shinies to help me hunt for other shinies. Now, on to the next one, Mincinno. This is another wrong shiny, unfortunately, at a 50-50 spot. Not the best luck with that stuff so far, but that's okay. I got this at 27,462 encounters. I really wanted Trubbish over this. There's a ×3 horde, I believe, what city is it in? It's in Unova, to like the east of, I want to say, I don't remember the town. I want to say Nimbasa. Northeast of Nimbasa is a ×3 horde with Trubbish and Mincinno. On Route 16 we can see. Not the shiny I wanted, unfortunately. I really wanted Trubbish, but what can you do? Moving on. Quagsire. Got this guy. Great shiny. Came out really good IVs. I did end up breeding it once to make it fully competitive. This is probably my best competitive shiny that I have. Sassy Nature Quagsire. Really good stats. 24+ in everything. Double 31 in attack and defense. You don't need speed. You don't need special attack on it. Yeah, a really, really fantastic shiny in my opinion. Huge fan of the Resto Chesto Quagsire. A bit outdated, but you know what? It's a classic. I love it. Plus, it's a beautiful color. Whether you're a Quagsire or a Wooper person, in terms of shiny is always a really interesting question for me. There's no wrong answer. They're both great shinies, but I'm definitely a Quagsire person over Wooper personally. I got this at 5,975 encounters. I don't know if I said that. Super lucky hunt. Really cool to get that done with. Now, one of the coolest shinies on this list, and one that many people might not know about. So this is actually, as you can see, not my main account OT. I do have 4 Pokemon in this box that are not my main account's OT. They're alt accounts OTs, but I still caught them myself. I still put the hours in the encounters and everything, and I'll explain that. So this shiny Grimer. Oh, this shiny Grimer. You can see the OT is Speed Shiny. That's because this came from a shiny speed run to a shiny Pokemon from scratch. I did end up breeding it to be comp ready. It has really good IVs and its lonely nature, which is pretty decent. This has a fantastic story. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check out my speedrun to a shiny Pokemon from scratch. It's probably one of my favorite PokeMMO projects I've ever done. It took a really long time. A lot of love, work, and effort went into like the routing and strategy into the run, and then just the attempts. The attempts are crazy because with this speedrun, if you don't get the shiny within 1 session, you have to start the speedrun over. So what I would do is I would create a new account. I would, speed run the storyline to the extent that I needed to get started shiny hunting. That'd probably take like 2 to 3 hours, and then I would just shiny hunt for like 7 hours, like a 10-hour stream. And if I didn't get it, I would just reset the next day. It only took 2 attempts, and I got this Grimer at 1,005 encounters, and someone called it. Someone fucking called it on stream. They said, you're gonna get a shiny in 3, 2, 1, and then bam, I got the Grimer. I can't recommend checking out this reaction. Is probably one of my favorite shiny reactions ever. Probably one of the coolest shinies that I've caught on video. Huge fan of that Grimer. Super underrated. Now onto Vanillish. This was caught at 23,361 encounters while recording a video. Really cool shinies back to back here. This is the only shiny that I've ever caught, not on stream, but while recording a video. It was a PSA video about using Synchronize while shunting. And towards the end of it, I got it live on video, and I just couldn't believe it. Nothing crazy stat-wise or anything, but this was insane to me. I really wanted the Vanillish line for a while. I was known for that Vanillite earlier on with the Deerling and everything, but this was just crazy. Really cool shiny. I don't really see myself doing too much with it. Maybe I'll breed it down into a Vanillite one day, but I'm not super pressed on that. Really cool shiny. Crazy that I got this during recording of a 5-minute video. It was super short. Anyways, moving on to Nidoking. I love this Nidoking. It's very meaningful to me. This Nidoking, so the reason I hunted this Nidoking, I got it at 32,061 encounters. It was a pretty cool shunt. It's to the east of Fuchsia, and my best friend playing PokeMMO back in 2013. My best friend, we super bonded over this game. We played this game hours and hours together. We sat in TeamSpeak together back in the day, if you remember that. For hours and hours, like every single day, 10 hours a day, 14 hours a day, whatever it was. And it was their favorite Pokemon. Their favorite Pokemon was Nidoking. They loved shiny Nidoking. They always wanted nice IV'd shiny Nidoking, and they never really got it, unfortunately. And I wanted to redeem that for them. I wanted to go ahead and get myself a decent Nidoking. And this one's decent. Adamant Nature, I think it's synchronized. 31 attack IV, and then 20 plus speed. It's good enough, right? It's not great. I would love to breed this up more one day, honestly, to pay more respect to them. But shout out to Joshua, probably the person that supported me the most in all of my PokeMMO endeavors. And I'll never forget them. They were fantastic friends, and it's cool to remember friends like that really got you into a game to such an extent. I also got this on stream, which was very cool. Now, moving on, Druddigon. Druddigon was achieved at 10,926 encounters. I got this way faster than I expected. Really cool shiny. Got it on stream. Fuck people who hate shiny Druddigon. I love shiny Druddigon. I feel like it's either you love it or hate it kind of shiny. I understand. I'm a huge fan. I love shiny Druddigon. Nothing super special here, I believe. Pretty good stats. I could breed this, especially now that it's an NU. I probably should breed this pretty quickly. I could breed this into a shiny competitive Druddigon pretty easily. It just needs special defense for the most part. I can even keep the low speed and stuff, put it in a Trick Room team. I need better nature for sure. Better nature and special defense, and it'll be good to go. Beautiful shiny. Don't at me. Anyway, this shiny Ponyta. This one is tough. This shiny Ponyta is really, really bittersweet. I got this at 34,247 encounters. I caught this as a Rapidash in the wild in a double battle encounter. This was not a ×5 Horde Rapidash like everyone seems to get them. Everyone gets them as EV training or XP training. Shiny Rapidash is one of the most common shinies in PokeMMO. I, however, ended up getting mine in a double battle, unfortunately. I've spent so many hundreds of hours hunting in that spot above Route 12 in Unova, single encountering for uncommon shinies like Combi and Sunkern, and I unfortunately just ended up with this thing instead as a double battle wild shiny, of course. Now, thankfully, this was at least during Shiny Wars, one of the Shiny Wars, not the most recent one, but during one of the Shiny Wars of my team. So I did end up at least earning my team 3 points for that, and I was pretty happy with that. I did end up breeding it down to a Ponyta and putting some IVs on it because Ponyta is definitely superior to Rapidash. That's just how it is. That's it for that. Moving on over to Golurk. Now, this Golurk is going to represent a huge swing in my shiny hunting career. I'll explain that more in a sec. Golurk was achieved at 34,055 encounters. I really didn't spend too much time at Golett, maybe around 2 to 4K encounters after hopping around other spots and such. He is a Leppa shiny. You do need Leppa berries to hunt shiny Golett, but he is a monstrously underrated shiny. Very, very beautiful, very, very large, very cool follower sprite, crazy stuff going on, really cool shiny. And mine came out really, really good IVs. Probably one of the best IV'd wild Pokemon I've caught. Adamant Nature, incredible. 25 plus in most of the stats, pretty much every stat that needs up for defense. 25 plus HP, attack, special defense, 31 speed. The special stat doesn't really matter, but it's missing that defense. That defense is really all it's missing. I love running this thing as a Custap berry. Really hilariously fun competitive Pokemon. Iron Fist with the 3 punches plus EQ stab. Golurk is a really cool Pokemon, really cool shiny. Ground Ghost is such a unique typing. I love this Pokemon. Very, 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 very cool. However, after this Golurk, it's important to note that after this Golurk, we'll check the date, February 8th, 2022. After this Golurk is when I decided to really embark on my shiny Cranidos hunt, and I went really, really, really hard on it on my main account, and I stayed out of grass for months and months and months. So these next 3 shinies in a row are all alt account shinies, and they're all from Cool Duder. So let's start with Marowak. Marowak was achieved at 6,604 encounters. It was pretty lucky. It was the first shiny on my Cool Duder account, which is always awesome to see. This is the account that I use for the Road to PokeMMO series, if you haven't seen that, which is pretty fantastic. It was really cool. This guy is really special to me because it is my first shiny on that account, and that's just always a big deal, no matter whether it's an alt account or not. 31 attack IV, which is pretty decent. Nothing crazy, but pretty, I'll take the 31 of like the best IV on any Pokemon always. Definitely not bad. Plus it's female, so it could be rebred at some point to make a competitive shiny for sure. That was first shiny. Nothing crazy, especially there. Moving on over to Scolipede. Now, Scolipede is another Cool Duder shiny, but this one was crazy lucky. I was shiny hunting with friends on a shiny charm, and I didn't really know what to hunt, so I ended up just hopping over to the Zorua spot with them because they were there, and I ended up getting a shiny Venipede in less than 6 Sweet Scents. I didn't even use any Leppa berries yet, I'm pretty sure. And Scolipede is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shiny. Really, really incredible in my opinion. It also came out 2x31. As you can see, I believe this is my only wild caught 2x31 shiny. I believe. I think everything else was rebred to get those stats. I think this is the only 2x31 wild caught shiny that I've had, which is pretty, I think so. Yeah, I think so, which is pretty crazy. Really beautiful shiny. I love Scolipede. I couldn't believe how easily and early I got it. I got it at 16,432 encounters, but I couldn't believe how short of a time I was at the Zorua spot before getting it. Now, moving on over to Bouffalant, the last Cool Duder shiny of the 3. I got it at 17,482 encounters. I got it while leveling Pokemon to make Pokeyen on Cool Duder. That's pretty much it. It's a really simple one. 31 attack IV, 25 plus speed, pretty much it. Yeah, I like Bouffalant a lot. A lot of people don't like Bouffalant. He's the attack EV training spot in Unova, a great location. I love Bouffalant. Shiny Bouffalant's fine, but I love Bouffalant as a Pokemon. Nothing super special there. Now, moving on to Pelipper. This shiny Pelipper is my most hated shiny by far. This Pelipper took me 1,500 hours. I spent 90 plus million Pokeyen on the Cranidos hunt. I stayed away from grass for 8 months, and then I went to level 1 Pinsir to level 50 because the Moxie ability came out, and I was really excited to use it, and I love Pinsir, etc., and I ended up getting a shiny Pelipper. I probably was XP training for less than 30 minutes, got a shiny Pelipper, and this shiny Pelipper broke me. I was on vacation when I got it as well. It was really sad. I really didn't want this, but you know what? That's how the shiny gods work. That's how the dice roll. What can you do? Wasn't in my control. Now, the positives of this Pelipper is that it broke my mental trap on Cranidos, and now I just kind of hunt for it here and there in sessions because the rate will always be 1 out of 30,000. So honestly, there are some positives to say about this Pelipper, even though I hate it so much. Moving on to Magikarp. This Magikarp was caught at 4,000. Oh, sorry, the Pelipper, if I didn't say, the Pelipper was at 57,451 encounters. Now, on a Magikarp. Magikarp was caught at 4,944 encounters, and this Carp was awesome. This Carp was the perfect representation of me breaking my mental trap on Cranidos. It was super hype. I got it on stream. I had been talking about hunting Magikarp after the Cranidos hunt for a long time, and I desperately missed ×5 horde hunting after so many dreadfully slow egg encounters. This is also where my lucky streak began. So let's go ahead and jump into that and continue on with that. Shiny Heatmor. Achieved at 19,500 encounters. Pretty lucky shiny, pretty underrate, you know. Pretty decent, 31 attack. Nothing crazy IV-wise. However, you can see that's actually labeled Turkey Day. That's because this shiny was actually caught on Thanksgiving, which is really cool. I've also spent a lot of time at the Heatmor spot across multiple accounts. It was really cool to get a Thanksgiving Day shiny. I love holiday caught shinies. I think it's a really cool date to be able to flex. Moving on over to Spheal. This Spheal was rebred. It was caught as a Celio. It has a ×5 horde, of course. This was caught 6 hours after the Heatmor. That is the shortest time frame between two shinies I've ever had. This was so close to also being caught on Turkey Day. So close. It was rebred, but yeah, this was so close. It was caught 6 hours after the Heatmor. Really cool shiny. It was at 3,389 encounters. Just the closest I've had two shinies back to back. Super, super crazy. And then Slowbro, the last shiny, the one that I've caught the most recently. I was way too hyped for this shiny on stream. I did get it on stream with great reaction. Way too hyped for this because there was a raid happening and there was a lot of hype in chat. It was just a good day. It was just a good day, and I was way too excited just to get a ×5 horde shiny near a PC. But you know what? Nothing wrong with being a little too excited, I guess. You know, not the worst thing in the world. It was a good meme, and it's a solid shiny. Really beautiful purple shiny. Definitely recommend doing a Slowbro hunt. It's a really, really cool shiny. Once again, 22,959 encounters. Slightly lucky. Pretty lucky, even. And that brings me to current day, where I am 75,780 encounters dry, still with no Cranidos, but hey, I've had a lot of other incredible shinies along the way. I don't know when or what Pokemon will break my dry streak, but hopefully you guys will be there to pog in chat when it happens. I can't believe I kept that in the script. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed your time here today. Have a great day, and good luck on all your guys' shiny hunts. Peace.